Hey everybody, Crystal Gamer here, and welcome to my Sims channel and to a new tutorial. We are going to be looking at TwistedMexi's tool mod today, and that stands for take objects off lot, but there is a lot more than you can do with it than just take objects off lot. There's a lot you can do with it in the build realm. So we're going to be looking at some of those things today. It's a really great mod. I definitely recommend it, and I will have the link for this below so you can download it. And also, if you want to support him, he's got a Patreon and all of that, so definitely take a look at that. So there's two different options for downloading this. There's a regular tool package, and then there's the Move Dialog package. I use the Move Dialog package. It's supposed to, I think I should be able to move the dialog box, but it doesn't move for me. I don't know why, but it doesn't. But nonetheless, you have to choose either this one or this one. Whichever one you choose is fine. And then you also need the script mod. Once you have the ones downloaded that you've chosen, you then put those in your mods folder. In most cases, your mods folder is going to be under Documents, Electronic Arts, The Sims 4, and Mods. And you can make your own folder for his mods or not, whatever you feel like doing. It's up to you. Once you have done that, you have to go into the game and ensure, if you don't already have script mods enabled, you need to make sure that you enable custom content and mods and script mods allowed for this to work. So that's under your game options. If you don't have these working already and you apply changes, it's going to require you to restart the whole game. So just be aware of that. The other thing that you need to use this mod is you need to ensure testing cheats are turned on. So that is Control-Shift-C to bring up the white box up here. You turn on testing cheats true. And I also recommend you use move objects as well. So bb.move objects on, I would recommend that too for pretty much all building, if we're being honest. But for some of the things in this tutorial, there will be a few things that require move objects. But all right, so the very first thing that we're going to start with is the elevation tool. All right, so I am in live mode right now, and I've put a couple of things out here, and you'd be surprised what you can use this for in build mode. And this is one of these awesome things you can fix with TwistedMexi's mod. You can see I put a little decoration, this little statue out on this fireplace, and there's this huge gap underneath. And same thing with this item here, there's this huge gap underneath. And of course, most of you will know that happens if you put something on an item like this statue on this fireplace. It's not slotted for this. This statue will not rest on this fireplace without you actually doing it with the 9 key. So you use the 9 key to raise it up. You end up with this gap. You can shift click now that you have the tool mod in. You can shift click on tool. It's nice and red. You can't miss it. And then go to elevate. And under elevate, it tells you that you can use numbers between -25 and 25, and decimals are accepted. For this part of the tool, I want you to strongly, strongly, strongly remember that decimals are accepted. And the reason being is because whole numbers move these things a lot. So I'll show you, I'm just going to put the number 1 in. The number 1 is going to raise this up quite a distance. So that went up a good ways, right? So where this can become a problem is if you have an item on the ground and you go -1, it's in the ground. Like you think you didn't move it that far, but it's in the ground. And if you're in this mode, like, I don't know, are you going to go excavating for it? So yeah, just be aware of that. Do very small increments in decibels is my advice on this. So I'm going to put this back where it was. I'm going to click elevate and I'm going to -1 because we did +1 to get it up. So that goes back here. So how to get rid of this gap? In almost all cases I have found, I go to tool and I go to elevate and I put in -0 or 0.03. -0.03. And look at that. It's sitting on the mantle perfectly. And I can do it with this here, tool, elevate, -0.03. Remember the decimal point, remember the 0. It's very important. So that's gone all the way down. Then I have a couple up here. They're not as off. I might even be able to do this. I haven't tested this, but let's try 0.01 and see if this takes it down enough. Yeah, it pretty much puts it on. There's not too much gap. I could maybe go one more, but you guys get the idea. So that's how you can use the Elevate tool for something very simple in your builds. And obviously you can use it for plenty of other things, but just be aware that it's probably best to use decimals for that in most cases, unless you really do want things to, take a very, very high jump up. All right, next up, we are going to look at rotation. I put these 3 windows out. You do need to use move objects to put windows like this, to place them kind of in the middle of nowhere and right next to each other like this. I don't know if that's going to change with the new update. It might, but because we're going to be able to put windows anywhere on walls, but with move objects, you don't need walls, obviously. And that's one thing that you need to do, what I'm going to show you here. And the idea is, if you want to create some different angles that you can't create with walls, you can do this with windows, you can do it with dividers, you can do it with anything. So how do you do this? You shift click on the object, you bring up the tool mod, and then you go into rotate. And when you do, you are presented with a circle on the ground, a green circle. So this is your axis, right? And it lets you know you can enter a value between negative 360 and 360. So basically you can rotate it in both directions is what it's letting you know there. And again, decimals are accepted. So you can do very, very slight movements as well. Now, if you don't remember 10th grade geometry, you might like me because I created a little cheat sheet for us. So here's our cheat sheet in case you don't remember the days of studying this. Essentially, our windows are at 0 right now. Okay, so they're flat, they're at 0. And what I want to do is I just want a slight angle on both sides. So say maybe 30 degrees. And if I want a 30-degree angle on both sides, I can just go 30 and 330. And they're each going to be at the same angle. Now, if you want to use the negatives, I could go 30 and negative 30, and it's going to take it negative 30 degrees. But for me, it's kind of, I don't know, this is pretty easy. It's just a memory jog, basically, to remember, okay, here's where 30 is, here's where 45-degree angle is, here's where 90 is. This stuff is stuff that we kind of know, but we don't necessarily always walk around with this stuff in our minds. And if you want something maybe at a different angle than usual, having a cheat sheet like this might be good. And you can pull grids like this offline. I made this one myself, but there's others online that, are just as good. So, okay. So I'm going to go 30 degrees and click OK here. And this one here, I said I wanted to go 330, right? To match it. Rotate. That's what I want. I'm going to go 330 degrees. And click OK, and there we go. So now they're both at the same angle. If I go back into build mode, because I have the move objects cheat on, I can just move this stuff around anywhere I want. And I'm just going to line it up. And line it up. There we go. And you can see how you could make kind of a pretty cool place with this. Like say I wanted to create some kind of greenhouse or something like that. I could add in a couple of windows here, and then, is that the same window? It is. It almost looks smaller to me. But I could add a couple of windows here, and then maybe put a few more at angles or something like that. Like basically just make whatever shape I want. Or if I wanted to come out here, I could come out here and then maybe, that was a really crappy one. And maybe I want to stick in another window here and say I want to use TwistedMexi's mod again, and say I want to rotate it, and I want to have another angle thing come out this way, and say I just want to kind of do some kind of build where the front of it is just kind of going back and forth or something like that. Like I could do something like that. Basically, it just allows you to do any angle you want. And like I say, dividers, windows, anything like this, and you can create any kind of shape you want. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, so that's rotation in that direction. You can also rotate into other directions. Let me get back to live mode here. So you can rotate things on the wall as well. So I'm going to click on shift click to get to tool. I'm going to go to rotate. And as we can see, our axis is still where it was when we were looking at the windows, right? So that's still our circle axis. And Obviously, we don't want the butterflies to rotate around that way. We want them to rotate around the wall. So it gives us this change axis button here. We click that, nothing happens. Yeah, the first time I played with that kind of confused me because it just stayed. So we have to shift click again, go back to tool again, click rotate again. Then we can see the new axis. So just be aware of that. And then you can rotate stuff around in here. And there we go. I can make the butterflies fly in a different direction if I want. And I can keep going. The axis will remain the same as long as I'm on the same object. And there is one additional axis. If I click on Tool and Rotate, change axis one more time. And then again, nothing happens. You have to click on Tool and Rotate again to see the new axis. But there's our third direction. So if you wanted to rotate something in that direction. And then one more change of the axis will bring us back to the original axis, the circle going around that way. So now there is a reset rotation button here. In my experience trying to use this, I will be honest with you, it's the one thing in this, it never resets it right for me. I don't think I've had it reset it right. I don't know why, but I have found that this doesn't really work very well. So my advice is try to remember the numbers you put in case you end up kind of screwing something up, so you can do negative whatever you did or the reverse of whatever you did. All right, next up. Let me get rid of that green line for a second. There we go. We're going to go to move next. And you got a glimpse of it right there. All right. So this is just a cats and dogs object that I made huge. I'm going to shift click on it again, click on tool to get into it. And then I'm going to click on move. So, all right. So this is where we get kind of complicated. This is the move grid here. And he says right here between -25 and 25, and there's your XY axis. Okay, so essentially we have a grid of 25, 25, right? And you can move this thing around any way you want. So again, for those of you that don't remember this stuff from way back when or whatnot, the X here is going to go back and forth, up and down, not up and down. Up and down sounds like elevation. No, forward and back is really the way that I should put it. So if I want to move this thing closer to us, if I want to come closer forward to us, I'm going to use a positive X number. So say I want to move this, I don't know, 4 spaces forward. And that's 4 blocks, right? We're looking at the blocks. So I want to move it 4 blocks forward. I'm going to go 4, 0, because the x-axis moves things forward and back. All right, so it just moved things 4 spaces forward. If I go negative on the x number, it moves it backwards. So say I want to take it a little bit more forward and to the left. So I'm going to click on Tool again and move. Say I wanted 2 more spots forward, which is a +2, right? Comma, and I said I wanted it to go to the left. So the y-axis is the left and right axis. The positive number moves it left, the negative number moves it right. So say I want to move it, I don't know, 2 to the left. Or, yes, 2 to the left is what I want to do. So I go 2 positive. So there we go. We went 2 forward, 2 left. And that's how you move things using the move tool. And you can make some big jumps. If you do a 25, comma 25, it's gonna move a ways. Like if I do 25, comma 25, we might have to go looking for it. Whoa, it didn't move at all. Hold on. 25, comma 25. There we go. So it moved way over here. So yeah, again, this is another one of those things that I prefer smaller jumps, but there's an easier way to move. That particular move is maybe better, honestly, when you're going less than a block or you're going small spaces and you want decimals and you want to just move things just slightly. That, to me, it allows you to move things just slight distances because, again, decimals are accepted. So you can make very small movements. For when you want to use large movements, there's a much easier way. Of course, I saved the best for last, right? So a much easier way if you want to move things in very far distances. So I'm going to click on Tool again. And I'm going to click Toggle Active Object. So to make this thing our active object, obviously it turns green. And I can now move this object anywhere that I can move a sim. So I can move a sim over here, go together. If I shift click on the ground there, the tool options comes up. It will come up anywhere I can move a sim. Now, if I can't move a sim somewhere, I can't move a sim here. Regular clicking does nothing. It will not come up. I can't move a sim on this. Even though it's flat, I can't move a sim here. So shift clicking does nothing. It does not bring the tool option up. So you can move it anywhere that you can move a sim. So let's say we want this little statue on this walk here. So I'm going to shift click the ground, go to tool options, say move active objects here. So there he is. He's here. And say I want to, I don't know, rotate him here a little bit to the left. I can do the 330 if I want to go 30 degrees on like the left axis, or I can go the negative. I'm going to go with that 330 again. And that gives them a nice movement to the left. And then I'm going to just say toggle active object off. And there we go. So now we have a nice little statue that the pedestrians can see on this path. So that's moving things off lot. And you can move things off lot anywhere. Like I can take this bench and I can move this somewhere if I want to. I can rotate it. I can do whatever I want with it. I can do all of those things in the world. The only thing is you cannot move anything Sims can't do anything with. So like I can't shift click trees and move them, and even light posts. Or wait a minute, maybe the light post did move. No, I must have clicked something else. No, light post won't. This will though, because Sims can use this object. So anything Sims can interact with, you're going to be able to move. I don't know if I can do this sign. Nope, can't do the sign. So yep, anything Sims can interact with, this barrel I should be able to do. No, it's not letting me. So maybe some things Sims can't interact with. That I can. So yeah, so you can take things, and of course, if you want to add things into the world, you just use a buildable lot like I did, and I grabbed that statue, use a buildable lot, and then you can put it somewhere in your world. So hopefully this gives you some idea. We covered pretty much everything in the tool mod, I believe. Let's check. Toggle active object, elevate, move, and rotate. Yep, we've covered all of those elements. So hopefully this helped you out a little bit. If it did, please don't forget to hit that like button below. And if you're not yet subscribed, I do all things Sims, builds, tutorials, pack reviews, all kinds of things Sims. So if you like the Sims, do hit that subscribe button below. And thanks so much for spending the time with me today. Hope to see you all back again next time. Bye now.